You know, there's the Scientology organizations, because there are many different organizations, have different levels. So the most senior management organization is the Sea Organization.
Right.
And the people in the Sea Org, the staff members of the Sea Org, have to sign a contract that they will remain on staff for 1 billion years, because within Scientology there is the concept of past lives and future lives, that you reincarnate basically over and over again. And so you sign a contract that you'll work toward the goals and aims of Scientology for 1 billion years, and that and you're given room and board and your medical care, whatever, food, and that's the top echelon of Scientology. Then there are the organizations where you can be on staff, but you're not necessarily a Sea Organization member. The commitment is not as great. Or you can train, you can do the Scientology training and become a trained counselor, and you can go off on your own, as Aida did,
right,
and charge money for your services and counsel people or train them, give them some training, some basic understanding of Scientology, by doing courses. But what I've noticed, the Sea Organization, the staff members are often under so much pressure that in order to get themselves, something goes wrong, in order to get themselves off the hook, they'll just find a scapegoat.
Right.
So they'll ruin a person's life just so that they won't lose their vacation or their weekend off, or so that they won't get demoted. In other words, something went wrong in the organization. It's really easy to find somebody in the organization to blame, but it's even easier to find somebody outside the organization to blame. So the people who have no power in Scientology are often the people who've been loyal Scientologists for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to them.
It doesn't matter because
it doesn't make any difference to them.
It's really kind of it's very mean. The justice system currently in Scientology is very mean.
Right. I wonder if the Church of Scientology doesn't exist anymore, to tell you the truth. They now call it the Scientology religion. I have this booklet that was distributed by the current management in 1993, and they don't call it the Church of Scientology, they call it the Scientology religion, which is now allegedly owned, and per this booklet, by the Church of Spiritual Technology. And according to this booklet, the Church of Spiritual Technology is a California tax-exempt religious corporation. It is not part of the church, and it does not participate in its day-to-day affairs, it says here. And it was formed in 1982 to receive L. Ron Hubbard's estate. In other words, they own, allegedly, according to some documents, they own all the valuable intellectual properties of his life's work. Mm-hmm. And here it is. And it says, of the Scientology religion. I don't see the Church of Scientology, so I don't know if that church exists anymore. But here's the description inside, per their own booklet, of the Church of Spiritual Technology, who now owns all this technology.
Well, Scientology has been sued so many times that they have created lots of different corporations that are actually, from my experience and Aida's experience, we're pretty certain that the head management of the Religious Technology Center controls the other organizations, and they control them by threatening to expel people from the different organizations. But these organizations are separate nonprofit entities, so that if one is sued, one can be completely collapsed, but it won't affect, financially at least, the other organizations. So it's kind of like a shell game that's being played. But
they are all controlled by the Church of Spiritual Technology.
I don't know if they're controlled. I think that this Church of Spiritual Technology may own the copyrights to the materials.
But if the money that is made from those copyright materials, where does it go? There is here this document I found in the internet on the website of the California State Department, where it says that the Church of Spiritual Technology is a corporation and the agent for service of process, is Sherman Lenski. Sherman Lenski is not a Scientologist.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
That's true.
Yesterday,
we don't know that.
or before the show airs, he could say he's a Scientologist.
That is true.
We don't know that. He didn't tell us that.
Well, yeah, that's correct. I never knew that he has done any services personally, so perhaps he's done, but not to my knowledge in my 30 years in Scientology.
It's suspected that he's not even a Scientologist.
Right.
But it's so complex. But the bottom line is that here's a religion, and whatever you think about it or don't think about it, there are people who believe in it. I mean, you think that there are a lot of good things about Scientology.
Yeah, there are a lot of good things. There's technology on how to study that really helps people with study problems. Actually, it helped me, to learn better, and English and all those things. But due to these alterations of the technology of Scientology, there has been a lot of destruction and a lot of bad PR for Scientology. And many people has lost their business, they lost their companies, they lost husbands or wives or children. Like I said this before, I've been to Europe and I have met people that has lost all of their friends, all of their livelihood because of this new management.
Yes, and you got kicked out yourself because of complaining about alterations of the courses, right?
Yes, well, I found, like, for example, this book is called Overcoming the Ups and Downs in Life. This is not by L. Ron Hubbard. It's based on the works of L. Ron Hubbard. And I say, what is this? And the moment that I ask, they consider that I was undesirable. It's like a Christian going and questioning the Ten Commandments or the story of Jesus Christ or whatever, and then being expelled because of that.
Yeah, and the thing is that Scientology advertises itself as a religion for people who are learning how to think more for themselves. But if you start to think for yourself and talk about what you think, they don't like that inside the church. Especially inside the structure of the Sea Organization. They like obedience. They don't like people. They tend to kick people out, kick people off staff who ruffle the feathers or who don't just obey.
So the
command intention. It's called command intention. You're not supposed to ever question command intention. Well, that's just totalitarianism in a religious form.
Very totalitarian. The moment that you say something that they don't like, the other staff members or the other parishioners cannot say anything because it is against the rule to talk about or against management or whatever management orders.
And why do people put up with it? I mean, we put up with it for a long time. I don't understand. I shake my head at myself that I didn't see through this.
Well, because at first you think it's going to get handled and you report it to the seniors or you report it here and there, and before you know, 1 year has gone by and that 2 years go by until one day you say, that's it, I'm not putting up with this anymore. And there's right now hundreds of people all over the world that decided we're not going to put this with this anymore. And they don't want to put with the alterations, and they don't want to put up with the totalitarianism that exists inside the Church of Scientology right now. So there's a lot of people now all over the world practicing Scientology outside the Church of Scientology, or I should call the Church of Spiritual Technology.
Yes. And many, many people. I mean, most of them are pretty quiet about it. Aida and I are not quiet people particularly.
No, I'm not that type.
We're pretty outspoken. And believe it or not, the show is now over.
Okay.
So we'll see you next time. Thank you to my guest, Aida Thomas, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.